So, Mr. VM,
What's going on?
here we
Normal
are.
Normal guy. Once
How
again,
are we?
shakes my hand.
How are we doing?
1,000 times, 1,001, and still doesn't
All
get
right.
it right. But it's fine. It is what it is. And
So, VM,
yes,
it's been a few days. We haven't hung out. It's been a while.
it's
But
been more than a few days, my man, bro. I'm telling you straight up.
there's a few things, a lot of viewers want to ask you.
The
And
viewers once again.
Oh, yeah.
Us.
And
Okay.
before
what
we
is this
begin,
about?
just to celebrate the 1 million views that we have gotten,
Are you serious right now?
here's a free
oh
shirt.
my god, I had no idea
This is a
about this.
free shirt for you, Victor.
Oh my god.
I would like you to wear it.
Oh.
If you
Should I put it on right
if
now?
you may, yeah. Yes, sir.
I think I should put it on right now.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Let me get up, put this shirt on.
No problem.
And in 2 seconds.
And we'll resume the...
Yeah, hold this thing for me real
All
quick.
right.
I'm sorry about that, sirs. Guys, ladies and gentlemen at home and kids that are watching right now. And this is part of life. You see cigarettes, you see alcohol, you see drugs. And here it is, to be entertained. There you go.
Looks good on you.
That's the logo. So, real quick, those are some
Cigarettes, sir?
ideas that are going on in my mind. Thank you very much, and I appreciate this is my house, my rules. That's how it goes in life. My house, my rules. The government has their house and their rules. So, what are some of the questions that you would like to ask me?
Now, as you may know, me and you are really into, rap and hip hop, and a big legend that everybody knows, DMX, has
DMX.
recently passed away. What is your take on the
DMX.
situation?
To be honest
If you
with
may.
you, the last couple days, and I didn't know exactly what was going on. And last night I was at the mall, Menlo Park Mall, to be exact, with my girlfriend, right? And I'm going through the mall, down the aisles, and I'm hearing in Foot Lockers and Finish Line and Champs and all them goddamn stores that are in there. And I'm hearing Rough Riders Anthem. I'm hearing DMX, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, yo, I haven't heard DMX. He's been DL down low for a long-ass time. And then all of a sudden I hear these people, these JBL speakers going off, whatever the case may be, and they're playing his music. And I'm like, next thing you know it, the next day, my girlfriend just tells me, oh, by the way, did you know DMX passed away? I'm like, yo, she's younger than me. She has no idea who the fuck this guy is. And I find out that he passed away. I'm like, damn. I did understand that, there's a lot of things that we don't know. It doesn't matter how much money you have, if you have a lot or you have a little. Money has nothing to do with the fact of you're guaranteed death, right? But you're not guaranteed life in the sense that anything could happen. We could walk down the street and get shot. We could walk down the street, get mugged, have a heart attack, Mm-hmm. And the fact that I hear that it has something to do with drugs and the overdose, it's common. It doesn't matter. The guy had money. He's been rapping since the early millennium, like when LL Cool J, Eminem was big back in the day, early 90s down to like 05, 03, 02, you know what I mean? Some of his music, like Rough Riders and all that, it was produced in movies, and he got a cutback from that. It doesn't matter if you're down below rock bottom, you could die, or you're a fucking millionaire on the top of the sky. That's my point of view about DMX.
Now, I don't know if you found out the cause of his death, but apparently it was overdose. So what are your opinions on,
I know,
the drug experience nowadays, and, there's a lot of heroin that's hit the streets, and, what's your experience like?
My knowledge of it, I was told by people that earlier he had an addiction to crack cocaine. And basically on Hot 97, I think they actually mentioned that he went to rehab several times for it. So my thing is, I don't know, I didn't read the article, I don't know exactly what the situation is, but in my opinion, before it came out or whatever, I would assume that it would have something to do with coke would be in the autopsy, whatever, in his system, once he's dead, if the family wants to do an autopsy. But it's known that 80% of people and college students, whatever the case may be, they are known to actually even try cocaine. You don't know, because cocaine could be laced. Michael Jordan's cousin, I forget her name, but it was on the Investigation Discovery Channel. I think it was a niece that passed away because she was in a nightclub in Manhattan, right? Goes to a car, which was a BMW, and it's on videotape because thankfully that parking lot had footage of what was going on, and taped her going from the club into this white Beamer. There's two people in the car. Now, keep in mind, there's a passenger seater. So she's in there not even 2 minutes, right? Goes in, probably sniffed, just drunk, wanted some coke, whatever. Sniffed a line of cocaine, comes out of the car and leaves to the right, going back to, and then all of a sudden she turns back and goes back in the car. And then, long story short, this woman was found dead on the corner of a fucking alley in New York City. Wow. So the way people kind of deal with it in the spur of the moment, some people can't handle it, some people can't cope with it, some people can't help people out when they're overdosing or whatever the case may be. But you know, that's a situation that, like, what if that drug, coke or whatever, was laced, and it was laced with some heroin, because when they did the autopsy on this woman, boom, they found all this shit, metabolites of heroin. She was pregnant. She had coke in her system. She had no idea about that. She thought, you know what, I'm going out for my birthday. I'm going to celebrate it. I think she turned 21. And I'm going to Manhattan, a nightclub, and next thing you know, you get drunk, and next thing you know, you call your plug, your drug dealer, and next thing you know, you're getting cocaine, but you don't realize it's laced with heroin, and then maybe she went back to the car because she didn't feel good, and then passed out and overdosed. And they just threw her body along God knows where, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a specific example of what overdoses have to do with. It doesn't matter.
Unfortunate situation.
Yes. You know, very well known. Like I said, it's Magic Johnson's niece. I don't know if it's niece or cousin or whatever, but it's in Magic Johnson's family.
Wow.
So at the funeral, it was like fucking thousands of people, you know, because they know who the fuck they are. But I'm just saying that's the example of what you said towards, you know, DMX. You know, I loved his music, and it's unfortunate because, you know, you don't, you know, you live life every day by day by day. You, like, anything could happen. Life is unpredictable. Like, you can sit there and just walk down the street one day and somebody could die, or your best friend could die, your mom could die, your dad, like, for like the dumbest reason in the world. And sometimes you kind of like look up at the sky and you're like, what the fuck? You know, where did they go? They never come back.
Well, on a positive note, you've been to halfway houses, and yes, you know, you have experience with that. So you tell us about it. You know,
the halfway house experiences. Yeah. You know, it's like,
what is it, and you know what? You know.
It's all right. There's a halfway house, and there's a 3/4 living. Oxford House, which is 3/4 living, is people like us would run the house itself. Take random drug tests, have group meetings for the house, and also have group meetings once a month with the women in halfway houses, which is awesome. It's amazing. You know, you can, you know, get with them, do what you want with them. Fuck it. You know, you got a woman inside. Fuck them. You know, take
wait.
Bitch.
So no, I'm just saying, there's co-ed housing.
Yes, there is. I'm just sorry about that. You know, no disrespect.
So there's some raunchy stuff that kind of
yeah, there's a lot of raunchy shit. Yeah, one girl from here, you know, who's getting high on acid because they can't find it in a drug test. Who's getting high on coke? They think, oh, after 2 days, but you know, come out, they drink fucking 60 gallons of water, take somebody else's piss. But
better than college almost.
It is, but the halfway house in the sense is like counselors run it. So when you leave, you got to sign a clipboard. What are you doing? Have proof of it. Have proof that you're at your job for 8 hours a week. You know, I mean, 8 hours a day, and you know, 40 hours a week. And if you have overtime, so you lie and you're like, oh, I want a boat pass. That's 48 hours on the weekend, Friday night all the way to Sunday night. And lie. You kind of get white lying about it. You know what I mean? White lie or whatever it's called. And the situation like that, it's like, if you're good with the way your behavior and your mannerism is towards the counselors and they trust you to think you're a good guy, you're just strolling right through your lane and doing what you're doing, you're going to get by. Perfectly fine. Pass the urines, make the groups, don't complain, work, pay your fucking bills of staying there, and there's rent. And that's all you got to do. And you're good to go, bro.
So,
that's my experience with you know, like in some rooms, unfortunately, like you have to live with the people you live with, and there's only like sometimes like in a halfway, it's like 2, 4, about 6 people, 3 bunk beds, and you have no choice. Like you're at a multiple choice, right, of a, you know, rational choice of how many people are going to be in your room. If you're with 4, 6 people, it depends. You have to live with the conditions that you're at. You have to sit there and live life on life terms of what that situation is. Like, if you're here, somebody's here on the left, and some guy's behind me for the next 12 hours, and we have nothing else to do, we have to get through those hard times. You can't choose what you want to do. You have to just utilize what you have in front of you with 4 walls and, you know, whatever the case, bed. Now you got your cell phone, communication. You know, you could leave, but there's a lockdown for 7 days where you can't leave the facility, the house. So you're locked down where the only thing really you could do is smoke cigarettes and just go to groups. There's a group in the morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., and there's a group from like 5:30 to 6:30. Depends on the halfway house. And your blackout period, they call it. Either you're locked down for...
Why you developed the cigarette habit that you currently...
Well, yes.
Okay.
You see, like, there's pros and cons. Then now you can smoke cigarettes, and you could sit there and drink coffee. Like how I'm lighting a cigarette right now because you mentioned it. So in my focal mind right here just was like, yo, I want to smoke a cigarette. You see, like, because when you first start, even when you go to institutions, rehabs, or jails, or whatever the case may be, mostly rehabs and institutions, the only thing that you could look forward to is a cigarette. Like, there's 50 people in your house, and every fucking person is smoking a damn cigarette. After a while of 2 months of seeing them smoking cigarettes on smoke breaks, you're going to want to smoke a cigarette and try it. Am I right, Usman? Normal guy, whatever the fuck your name is. I'm sorry I said that, but you know what? This guy knows what he's talking about, so put it in, let this video go, and tell him how the fuck it is, please. Usman.
Well, quite interesting. You mentioned all these drugs.
I didn't say drugs. I said how halfway house.
You were familiar with Dan. You were familiar with Dan.
Danny.
Don't want to mention his full name.
Oh, sorry.
All right. So, having mentioned his name, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about your various drug experiences and how to be safe with drugs? And do you agree with their, with the things starting to become legalized? What do you think about addiction? I want your full opinion.
So my personal opinion
about drugs.
Let me first start out with Danny. R.I.P. Rest in peace. And like I said, like earlier, and what I said, life is unpredictable. You do not know what fucking happens. You could walk down the street and get a gallon of milk from a fucking bodega, a small convenience store. The next thing you know, you can get a shot. You can get killed, or maybe your best friend, or your mom, or your dad. I'm sorry to say, family, it could happen. You have to keep those options open. Expectations. Don't have small expectations. Have bigger expectations for everything in life. That's number one. Number two is don't sit there and do something that you can't control. If that particular situation is controlling your mind, it's controlling your life, and it becomes unmanageable. That's about addiction. Addiction is a mental illness where there's depression, there's anxiety, and you want to escape your problems. You want to lift away and get away from your problems and see like this different illusion of what reality is. That's basically what drugs is all about. And people try to go in there, personal experience, I've done it with everything, and utilize that and leave. And the whole thing with marijuana, there's political to it. I don't want to get into it at this moment. And, people have been smoking weed. And in society, it's sad to say that people that smoke weed are generally targeted at the teenage years of anywhere from, like, I'm hearing now 12 years old to 18 years old. Most likely, in that survey, in a graph poll of from 0 years to 99 years of living, you would see that teenagers are up here if there was a survey or a census. And that is a problem because you know what? Regardless of the fact that if it's illegal or illegal, minors are still going to get their weed if they want weed. In my issue with society right now is the minors getting it. It's something that's been going on for years, but the fact of the matter is, if it becomes like it doesn't change. Whatever law comes up, minors are still going to get alcohol. Minors are going to still get weed. It doesn't matter. It's the same shit. The only difference is whether they have to go to court, whether they have to go to rehab, and all this bullshit.
Any crazy drug experiences? Perhaps you might want to share with the viewers near-death experiences and things.
I mean,
how was that? Did you see anything on the other side?
Shit, man, I've had a couple. In all honesty, overdoses, and thank God if God does exist, everything rolls, uphill and then downhill. There has to be some kind of God, Allah, in one religion, and God, and this and that, and it's like it doesn't matter what you call him or how you see him or how you visualize God, but in a almost dead experience kind of situation, like I was there a couple times and I was dead for like hours on end, and then next thing you know, I get revived and. Yes, I felt like I was dreaming. It was an outer body experience that I seen myself on a hospital bed, and then I seen this tunnel and the light ahead of me, And I look forward, and in my belief, there's something there when you die. I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know what it is. Not questionable. Nobody ever came back and told me, but yes.
To talk about your experience of death, do you remember what kind of happened after you passed out? Is it all black, or is it?
It was all black, and then all of a sudden, no, it's more like a dream. Like, to me, it was like a dream. It was like a dream, bro. Like, death was like a dream. Like, I'm out of my body. Like, when you go to sleep at night and you dream, that's how I felt. Out of my body, dreaming. Thought it was all a dream at that moment. And then went back in my brain. I don't remember everything that what happened, but it was a dream. Like, I felt like I was dreaming, but I was in a different dimension.
How has that experience kind of, shaped how you kind of look at life nowadays?
I mean,
you go about your,
the biggest thing I could say, if you could learn one thing or whatever from this video, even if you don't like it, whatever the case may be, as long as you respect it, is, don't sit there and put yourself as a coping mechanism to where if you get depressed, you have anxiety, you get sad, you get mad, angry, whatever the case may be, don't cope with it by taking drugs, because that's just going to take your physical being and your mental awareness away from what's going on, what problems you have. And then it's like once you leave and you come back to reality when those drugs are gone, you have to face those problems. You have to face those issues. You have to face all those problems that exist in your life. And you know what? The fact that you haven't been there for a while, they start growing like a fucking seed and a plant. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the problem becomes like this. And you have to deal with it longer in your life. Whether it's the law, getting in trouble, going to jail. You understand what I'm saying? Coping mechanism is the best thing you possibly do, is the abstinence from any kind of drug. And just, take a walk around the block. Just do something productive with your life. You have a job, work a little bit overtime. You have kids, motivate you to live right and have discipline and structure in your life. When you have a girlfriend, you're doing the right thing. You have kids, you have a job, you have this, and you have that. And that's basically the key to success of staying clean and not getting yourself into drugs and addiction and all that case. Because it just puts a stall on your life. It doesn't matter. There's people that are 15 years old that haven't even started their life, and they put a stall on their life because they have to deal with these legal problems. They have to deal with these mental illness issues. And it sucks because the United States has a big issue with addiction. And people like us, everybody, we're not alone. We need help from other people and how they helped with it, how they coped with it, how they got themselves clean for years.
So, having said that, we kind of have to wrap up the, talk. If if the viewers do know people kind of struggling with issues and stuff, maybe he can mention it in the description box.
Like he's saying, I'm VM, and I have the shirt to promote. Right here, to be entertained. Here it is, right there. You could see it, and I'm a part of this group, and they have handled it very well. And I have a lot of stories to tell everybody on YouTube. It doesn't matter if you see us, to be entertained. Click on it, subscribe to videos, whatever the case may be. Do what you got to do, because I'm telling you, every single day when you watch one of these videos, you can learn something that's different than what you did from yesterday. Maybe it was a word or a sentence or a statement that I said. I'm telling you, this is real life experience from VM. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
That's about it.
That's it.